All right, so I'm back with yet another Pauper deck tech. Today I'll be looking at this mono blue Affinity deck I've been working on, which I feel is actually very powerful. It still needs some tweaks, and some of the flex card choices are not optimized, but I do think this deck has the capacity for some ridiculous explosive plays where you just spill your hand out on turn 1 and turn 2, which many of even the tier decks struggle to deal with. So yeah, I thought I'd quickly run it down and leave it to you to maybe offer up some more card choices or ways that the deck can be improved. So it's essentially a Pauper version of the 8-cast mono blue decks in Modern, which are artifact-based decks that are quite similar. So we use the main sort of new card that sort of pushed this deck into being more viable, in my opinion, is Moonsnare Prototype from Neon Dynasty. So it's 1 blue for an artifact. It has tap an untapped artifact or creature you control, add 1 colorless. And it also has channel, so you can pay 5 mana, discard it, and the owner of target non-land permanent puts it on the top or bottom of their library. So this is essentially just 4 more copies of Springleaf Drum, which is one of the classic Affinity cards. Of course, it's 1 mana for an artifact with tap an untapped creature you control, add 1 mana of any color. So these two are the early game engines of our explosive aggro plays. And then the rest of the cards are fairly standard Affinity cards. Kind of also this deck, what I like about it is that it has quite an old school Affinity flavor, throwing all the way back to Mirrodin Standard. So let's quickly run through it. Okay, so we have 17 lands. They're all untapped artifact lands. We're mostly mono blue, but we have 1 green card in the form of Carapace Forger, but lots of our mana is colorless, so the lands aren't too much of an issue. In terms of our early game stuff, we have a full set of Ornithopter, full set of Frogmites, 4 for a 2/2 with affinity for artifacts. Okay, we don't have Thought Monitor or Sojourner's Companion, so we resort to one of the strongest threats we do have, which is Mer Enforcer, classic 7 mana for a 4/4 with affinity. Okay, of course we have Thoughtcast, 5 mana, draw 2 cards, affinity for artifacts. We also have this card from Modern Horizons 2, which has performed really well in the list. It's the Sorcery Hard Evidence, 1 blue. It says create a 0/3 crab creature token, and you investigate, so you create a clue token. So this is nice so that for 1 mana we get an artifact to add to our count, which we can sacrifice to draw. And also we get a nice 0/3 blocker, which can often be quite useful against aggro decks. Then we have 1 copy of Welding Jar in the main, 2 Bone Splitters, just to punch through a bit more damage. And then finally, these are our heavy hitters. So first up, it's Carapace Forger, 2 for a 2/2. As long as you control 3 or more artifacts, it gets +2/+2. So that's essentially all the time. Then we have Gear Seeker Serpent, 7 mana for a 5/6, but it costs 1 less for each artifact you control, and you can pay 6 mana to make it unblockable until end of turn. Then finally we have Bastion Inventor, 6 mana for a 4/4 with Hexproof and Improvise, so your artifacts can help cast the spell. Each artifact you tap pays for 1. So I found this creature package to be pretty strong. I'll upload some gameplay footage because, as I mentioned, this deck can be incredibly explosive, where you just play Bastion Inventors on turn 2 alongside Frogbites, Mer Enforcers, and yeah, I find it a very fun list, which I think has the potential to be very competitive. As always, thanks for watching. Please let me know your thoughts and ideas you have to improve the deck, or ideas you have for spicy decks or cards that I should try out. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.